Hey guys, me, Timmy's Hype here on the second channel, and welcome to some more Forza Motorsport 7 car reviews, where today you can see we have the 2016 Mazda MX-5. I don't know why I forgot that, but yeah. And as you can see, we're driving around the circuit of Prague. Now, I thought we've not took any two-seater sport cars around yet, so we should probably check them out, and for a very good reason too. But first, let's talk about the MX-5. You can buy it from the auto show for 31,500 credits, and for that money you get 155 horsepower, 148 foot-pounds of torque, and it weighs 2,310 pounds. And now that sounds like a whole lot of fun and just greatness. You get 205s on the front, 205s on the rear, and road tyres as standard. Obviously, with not having as much power in this thing, you can run with the less power, with less wheel width. So, you know, you don't need as much grip because you're not going to be sliding out as much. It's rear-wheel drive and front engine with a 2-litre i4. Now, this is the common MX-5 standard of, you know, build. Rear-wheel drive, front engine, and then you get an i4 of sorts. This is the 2-litre one in Forza Motorsport 7 for the 2016 version. And 0 to 60 in 6.0 seconds, 0 to 117.3 seconds. So as you can see, it is quite slow accelerating, but it is not meant to be doing that. It's just meant to be having fun. It is only in D class in Forza Motorsport 7, and it only has 155 horsepower. And then you get 60 to 0 in 134 feet, and 100 to 0 in 336 feet. So, you know, you're not going to be going as fast, therefore the brakes will be great. And it only has a top speed of 140 miles an hour. Now, to me, the MX-5 has always been the dream of two-seater sport cars. Like, you get stuff like the Alpha 8C and stuff like that. They're two-seater sports cars, but they are just a bit pushy. This thing is great. It's a car you just want to get. You want to rip around a circuit, you want to rip around the back roads, and just have a lot of fun in it. And I've always thought, well, you know, the MX-5 is great. Is there anything that's ever going to beat it? And so far in the world, there just isn't. If you want a two-seater sport car, you go to Mazda, you get the MX-5. It's cheap, it's easy to maintain, it's a lot of fun to drive, it's easy to drive. The only issue I have with this 2016 version up to now is it's a bit more oversteery than I would usually enjoy. But then again, this car's made for enjoying it. So when you get that bit of oversteer, you can keep it in control, keep it held, and then, you know, have fun. This car is awesome to drive. It's a lot of fun, and it is well made, well built, and, you know, just brilliant to drive. And as you can see, we are ripping around the Prague circuit, but we get a bit of wideness, we hit the wall, and then it kind of puts us off for the rest of the track. And then we get to the next corner, we get it a bit, you know, out of place. We're still a tiny bit wide, and yeah, the MX-5 kind of bites back and throws us into a wall. But this is where the new boy comes into town. There is a new two-seater sports car which is here to fight against the Mazda MX-5. It is the 2017 Fiat 124 Spider Abarth. That's a lot of words to say. We all know Fiat for the 500 and not much else. Maybe for the 8V, or that's about it, and multiple. But you know, we don't usually see Fiat make a car like this. I mean, it's not too far out of Fiat's range, to be honest. And a pair of Abarth, we've got the Fiat Abarth, the Biposto thing. That was made for racing, and that's a two-seater sports car. So this isn't too far out of Fiat's reach. And well, I'll get into some of the stats for you now. You can buy it from the auto show for 43,500 credits. So that is nearly 12,000 credits more than the MX-5. but you get 165 horsepower, so 10 horsepower more, 184 foot-pounds of torque, so nearly 40 more torque, and it weighs 2,477 pounds. So it's 10 more horsepower, 40 more torque for just 100 pounds more. But it costs 12,000 credits more to buy. Now, you get 205s on the front and rears, road tyres are standard, and you get rear wheel drive front engine. So it's exactly the same as the Mazda MX-5. And, you know, they can't make it like something like the BRZ, because then it wouldn't be fighting the MX-5. Then there'd be no point in saying it's going to fight the MX-5 if you're going to make it so unbelievably faster than the MX-5. It's like putting a Mazda MX-5 and saying it rivals the Bugatti Veyron because it's got 2 seats and it's, you know, got a bit of power to it. It just doesn't work. So the 124, the biggest difference we have is it is a 1.4 litre i4, but this one has a turbo. And that turbo kicks in very low in the rev range, so you can get the power down much quicker. And for that you get 0 to 60 in 6.7 seconds, 0 to 100 in 18.8 seconds, and that is slower than the MX-5, surprisingly enough. You get 60 to 0 on 142 feet and 100 to 0 on 355 feet, which is also worse than the MX-5. But top speed wise you get 144 miles an hour. So you get 4 miles an hour for your extra 12,000 credits. Now you're thinking, why on earth would you buy a Fiat over a Mazda? What in the name of all that's holy would you do to want to buy a Fiat? So as you can see, this car does not outstep its mark. It is very hard to make it outstep its mark. It just wants to keep gripped into the ground, and when you do, it's really easy to control. As you can see, it looks like it's going to get sliding, but it keeps grabbing onto the road and making sure that you don't lose control. And one of the biggest selling features for me for this Fiat is the new MX-5. You know, the MX-5 you always see as this bubbly little, you know, sports car with a big smile, and it has no care in the world. The new Mazda, if you go to start the video, you will realise it has, well actually you don't need to start the video because you'll be seeing it again soon in the video, so make sure you check out there. It has this kind of angry sports car-y look, and not the flowers and sunshine look anymore, but this Fiat looks incredible. It looks, if looks could kill, this would kill me. It looks brilliant. It looks very nice, and I know some people for a fact will not like this, the look of this Fiat, but I love it. So yeah, there are the stats of the two cars that we are going to be putting up against each other today in this video. And the first thing we had to do was take them to the drag strip. And first we took the MX-5, so we had a benchmark. And obviously these weren't going to go any quicker than the Koenigsegg 1.1. These were going to be at the bottom of the leaderboard in pretty much everything. They are in D class, so you know we've not got anything around that mark. The MX-5 got a time of 15.666, putting it into 15th position on the leaderboard. And now for the Fiat 124 Abarth, this has a better launch than the Mazda, so you know it has the potential to do much better. I got a 15.249, put it into 14th position, which both are slower than the Ford Fiesta ST, but I would much rather drive these than the Ford Fiesta ST. So our next challenge was to take them to Maple Valley, where we would be drifting them around to see how good they can do. And while I'm not a very good drifter, the Mazda MX-5 here was, I would say, easier to drift than the Fiat, because it has that more natural slidiness. It feels like it has that little less grip than the Fiat does, so you are never quite sure when it's going to overtap its mark, but when it does you can control it. So I thought the MX-5 is going to be very good at this. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it was. It really was. This thing could drift, you could hold it. Sometimes obviously you're going to lose it. I'm not a very good drifter as it is, but you can see that I've had a crash in it in the previous laps and stuff, but you know, there'd be probably like a couple of £100 to repair, not even that, and then it'd be back perfect. And Maple Valley for these cars would be a bit more difficult because of the fact of Maple Valley is a lot more of a power circuit where it needs more power to be sliding, and that's kind of the difficulty for these lower powered cars. But these could genuinely get sliding very, very, very well. And as you can see, it is coming up the hill now, and it's not really sliding, but it's still getting some points in every now and then. We're coming up to the final section of the lap now, the downhill section, and this is where the MX-5 does really come into its own. As it's got a little bit more slidiness, with the downhill it can really get some sideways action going, and yeah, it's pretty good at drifting. I wouldn't say it's the best drift car ever, not by any means. It's obviously running everything stock, but that was a pretty good final. That was the best final corner we've had on this circuit so far. So the Mazda MX-5 got a best lap of only 15,001 points, which is 1,700 more than the Lotus 311, but 200 down on the Formula E. So, knowing that, I came into using the Fiat 124 with a bit of a scare, because I didn't think it would be even. I thought this would be even harder to get drift, and I'll be honest, it wasn't. Because if you want this thing to slide, it will slide, and it will slide pretty easily. As you can see, I feel a lot more confident in the Fiat 124. I much prefer drifting this car around, and after we do the laps, I'll say my personal opinions on both the cars, obviously. But for now, just know that this car is incredible to drift. It has that 10 or so more horsepower, which is what you kind of need for drifting, because it can get the power down, and with the turbo and having no turbo, like, it gets all that power down pretty quickly. So drifting isn't hard. Obviously on Maple Valley it's going to be a bit harder, but as you can see, we are getting it sliding, we are getting it sideways, and we are burning some rubber very, very well. We are coming up to the biggest corner so far, and as you can see, the Fiat is ripping it. That's like nearly the best we've had around that corner so far, because of the fact that it's easy to drift, it's easy to drive, it's easy to keep in control of, and that is just what you want. I had a bit of a collision with a billboard, but we don't talk about that. Yeah. And I was surprised by how fun this thing was to drive, how easy it was to drift even, and just how much it wanted to get sliding if you pushed it to. If you want to get sliding, it will go sliding for you, and it will go sliding in a very good manner, and it looks incredible while doing so. So we come into the downhill section where this 124 can just rip it. It is so unbelievably good, and I don't even, it's just incredible. And we're coming to the fastest section on the circuit by far for the Fiat, and we had a bit of a crash, yeah. And we ended up in the tyre bundle, and that was very, very bad. So, best lap of the Fiat 124 Spider at Bath was a 17,487 points, which is 2,000 more than the MX-5. Which is also 1,500 more than the Audi Q7, and only 400 down on the Chevy Camaro, which is much more inclined for drifting. So obviously, after this, we found out the Fiat is faster at quarter-mile drag strip and better around a drift circuit. So we had to take it around. We had to take both these cars around the circuit of our choice, the Suzuka full circuit, where they would be both getting 5 practice laps, and then one from standing start lap. And when I was riding this, driving these cars, We're coming up to the S curves now. I much prefer driving the 124. The MX-5, it is a good car to drive. You're just trying to get a good lap out of it. You're pushing it to its limits, and you can feel it really wants to let go and just get sliding. And you can't. You obviously you can tame it, but it's a little bit harder. Around the Dunlop curve, this thing wouldn't want to get sliding because it's a very good car. When you get it through the corners and you start accelerating through, it's very good. And for the Degner curves, like last time we had the Alfa Romeo Quadrifoglio, that wasn't wanting to get stopped and slowing down. These things would fly, and I mean fly around them. And we're here at the uphill hairpin, that's the one. And it was a bit of a struggle for the MX-5 because it would sometimes burst into wheel spin, sometimes just not have the power or the torque to want to get it up the hill. And I mean, you can't really blame it. It's not got that much power. It's not meant to have that much power. But if it was me, I would I'd probably put around 50 more horsepower in it, get about 200 horsepower, and see how it goes from there. And this area was always going to be the biggest downfall for both these cars. The massive back straight after spoon. It would only get to about 140 miles an hour, the MX-5, but then it could keep it planted around the corner 15, the really fast left-hander, and coming into the Casio triangle section of the track, it is very good out here. Obviously, it's not going to be bursting into massive amount of wheel spin, and then it can keep itself planted around the final corner and going to across the line. Now, the MX-5 got a lap time of, I need to find this. It put itself into 30th position with a lap time of a 250.222, which is a second faster than the Ford Fiesta, but 1/10 slower than the Audi Q7. And yeah, my overall opinions of the Mazda MX-5 then. Well, the new one I'm on about here, it's a good car. It drives alright. It drives like a normal MX-5, but it doesn't. I know I shouldn't be really saying this, but it doesn't have that feel that I would really want from an MX-5. Like the old Miatas and MX-5s of the day were much better. They were more involving. They were more kind of on the edge, but not sliding as well. They had less power. They had probably more weight, but I would much rather have one of them. The style in this car, it looks more angry and more aggressive than an MX-5 really should. I mean, personally, I think it does look good, but I know a lot of people don't really like the look of this car because of its angry face, the rear lights. I don't know what they was thinking when they was doing them. But yeah, it's an alright car. You can't really fault it. It was the next step up. I just hope when the next generation of MX-5, which will happen, kind of goes back down to the original stage. Like, the car just seemed massive compared to the old MX-5 Miata, and it's good. I do like this car. It is a fun car to drive. It is relatively cheap, so it would probably be a very, very fun first car. But yeah, it is quite, I want to say practical, because it's got quite a bit of boot room. I know I didn't show it in this video, but this car has quite a bit of boot room. That's what makes it a little bit bigger. But then you do also have the roof you need to put in there. So when you got the roof down, it kind of takes up a lot of the space. So yeah, the MX-5 is a great car. Would I recommend buying it in Forza Motorsport 7? Definitely, because you could probably upgrade it and get some fun times out of it. Even stock, I was having a bunch of fun riding this thing and just messing about in it. I only bought it for this episode, and I know I'm going to use it a lot more in the future because it's just an incredible car and a bunch of fun to drive. But Our next challenge was to obviously take the Fiat 124 and see how that would do around a circuit. And now, once we eventually cross the line in the MX-5, the Fiat 124 Spider Abarth. Now, like we said, the acceleration's slower, the braking is worse. So, would it do any better than the MX-5? I had high hopes for this. I knew it was good around a quarter mile, I knew it was good drifting, and I knew it had a lot of grip. I had huge expectations for this to do pretty well. And around the S-bends, around the first section of the track, it is incredible. It's got a lot of grip. It can carry probably about 3-4 more miles an hour than the MX-5 could, and it could do that very, very comfortably. As you see, I got a tiny bit of a slide on, but that's because I was genuinely pushing this thing to its absolute limit. And it really wanted to keep itself in control. And now, the Dunlop curve, this car wasn't as fast as the MX-5. I don't know, it was something very strange about this car that just wouldn't want to get itself accelerated around that corner. And coming into the Degner Curve 1 and Degner Curve 2, the MX-5 was also a bit faster around here as well, because its brakes were better, so it could get itself slowed down at a later point and get itself accelerated a bit quicker as well. But the biggest advantage this car had was around the uphill hairpin, where it would get out of it without spinning its wheels up, without doing anything, and it would get accelerated with that 10 extra horsepower. And that 10 horsepower is a godsend when it comes to a track like this, because it's got the long straights and it needs acceleration, and the more power it has, obviously the better it's going to get accelerated. So, you know, yeah. We are coming around Spoon now, and this is where this car had the most amount of problems. It didn't want to get turned in, it didn't want to get accelerated through the corner, and it was very, very slow. And then coming on to the longest straight of them all, around the back straight, it was a very, very bad mix. And this car coming up was a very slow accelerating car. It only got to 130 miles an hour, which is 10 down on what the MX-5 got to, which is a big amount. But as well, it could keep itself planted and get through these corners much, much quicker. Around the Casio Triangle, which is what we're coming up to now, we obviously have a downhill braking zone, and that thing really messed up this Fiat 124. But it could get itself accelerated out these final corners very easily, as it's very undramatic, and get itself accelerated to across the line. Now, this thing beat the MX-5 in drift, in the drag, but it didn't in the lap time. This Fiat 124 goes into last position, into 15th position on the leaderboard with a 252.491, which is a whole second down on the Fiesta ST. And that sucks, because I love this car so much. It looks incredible, it drives incredibly, and it is a lot of fun to drive. And that brings me on to the question. If I were to honestly choose between the 124 and the MX-5, what would I pick? And I'd pick the 124. It sounds incredible. It might be a bit more expensive, a bit harder to maintain. It's from Italy and all that. But this car is better. It looks better. It sounds better. It drives better. It is better all around. And I love it. I saw this car was my second favourite car out of the Samsung QLED TV car pack. It might be OLED actually. I'm not sure. But yeah, this is my second favourite car after Alfa Romeo Quadrifoglio, because I think this thing is amazing and it is genuinely incredible. So yeah, if you have enjoyed this review and want to see more, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more coming. We're trying to do 2 a week. We're gonna see how that goes. But yeah, comment down below what review car you want to see us review next. It could be out of the new car pack or any car in Forza Motorsport 7. So yeah. Anyway, that's it from me. TMD's Hyper, signing out.